I have a couple new Superoceans in front of the camera today that I'm personally very excited to present. These two are my personal favorite color configurations. I think they are the most attractive and desirable color configurations and size configurations in the new Superocean model from Breitling. Now, I'd like to say that a lot of you are sad to see the prior generation Superocean be discontinued. You've really grown to love the watch, and it's always sad when a personal favorite gets replaced with something new and with something very different. Now, this is very different from the prior generation, and I think it's easy to be hesitant. In fact, it's easy to be negative, and I think there will be some negativity surrounding this new release, and especially with some of these flavorful color executions. My personal favorites, but maybe not everybody else's cup of tea. And I think over time, people will come around to this new generation of the Breitling because you'll realize, hey, this is actually a really well-constructed watch. This new case is thin and comfortable and trim. There's restrained use of polishing. The lugs are shorter. They arc down. This really plays nicely on wrist. We have ceramics now. We have the excellent anti-reflective coated sapphire crystals that Breitling is so famous for. And now we have a retro-inspired design from the slow motion chronograph, but blasted into a contemporary execution with the gloss ceramic, with the ARC, with the polished applied markers, and these flavorful colors like the Kelly Slater orange with the lime green accents, and this very hot color at the moment, turquoise, in the 44, you'll recognize that some of these elements start working in conjunction with each other the longer you look at this watch. And especially if you check one out at an authorized dealer and you put it on wrist and you realize, hey, I can actually pull off a larger watch with this platform. I normally like 40, but I really like how this 42 looks on my wrist. Or I really like 42, but man, the 44 just feels right. You'll start to experience these types of feelings, and then you'll notice other things like the slight texture in this rubber strap, and especially the new clasp, which I think is a massive step in the right direction for Breitling. I have long been critical of their prior generation clasps. They've always felt dated to me, but now we have a contemporary clasp that is milled. We have a signature. We have a push button release. We have nice finishing, and the most important thing is the fact it's not tall, it's not long, it's not clunky, and we have the micro extension system hidden on the underside of the clasp, so you don't need a tool to make the size adjustments as you're using this watch and say you want it a little bit tighter or a little bit looser throughout the course of a day. Zooming back, I can recognize some of you will be apprehensive about this new watch. Why do we have a big white index ring? Why is there a massive square found on the minute hand? What was Breitling thinking? What are they doing? I recognize that is going to be a perfectly normal reaction. But again, over time, and it may take a year or two or three, I think this one is going to be a fan favorite because it is a good watch. The watch has been improved. We do have better specifications. And man, these two colors, I'm telling you, these are the way to go. In fact, I could see myself also adding the Kelly Slater to the rotation. I know I mentioned I have the turquoise on order. It should be coming next week, and I'm really excited about that. But this Kelly Slater is very special as well with this color, with the lime green, and how different this is from the turquoise. In fact, I think one could collect a few different versions, colors, materials, and sizes from this new Superocean family and not feel like you have heavy collection overlap, if that makes sense. Now let's talk about a few of the tangible things here. Let me give you the lume shot. We have excellent lume. This watch is all about legibility. It's all about the minute hand, and that in relation to your elapsed timer. This is for diving, and I like how simple this is. I like how symmetrical this is. We don't have a date breaking up the dial, and I find that to be a strong thing. So very good lume. The best part is in natural light, it's white, it's desaturated, it works well with that index ring, that fully indexed index ring, and there is no faux tina or creamy lume with these two. So really like that personally. Now, the next thing, and this is very important for a dive watch, that is the tactile action of your bezel. Now, I think it's better because we have a gloss ceramic bezel that will be better resistant to scratches and dings and whatnot. It will hold up over time and bring some visual interest to what is already a very visually interesting watch. But how is the action? It's very good. In fact, it is improved over the prior generation, and that's always a good thing to see when you see an evolution of a particular model over the years. You want to see incremental improvements, and I'm pleased to report that that is taking place here with the bezel action. And I would say that this is just a little bit nicer than the Seamaster Professional 300-meter diver, which I'm a big fan of personally. I think the bezel action is a bit better on this Breitling. Now let's talk about where this falls a little bit short. I'm going to mention two things that are to my personal taste here. You may agree with me, you may disagree with me. Let me know about that. But the first thing is the movement choice. Now we have a Slater version of the Breitling 17 within this watch. We have a closed case back, 38 hours of power reserve. We have a 4 hertz beat frequency. And it is a chronometer. All Breitlings will be certified by the COSC, so it is going to be very well dialed in and accurate. But you look at a competitor at a similar price of around $5,000 at retail. I think a lot of you are thinking of the Seamaster, which will retail a little bit higher than this when it comes to their dive watch. But that one will have an in-house movement with a silicone hairspring. It will be Meta certified. You can see it through an exhibition crystal, anti-magnetic properties, a very value-rich offering at a very similar price. And then you look at this, and yes, it will be cheaper to service. It is a respected movement, but the tech specs are just not as enticing, and I can't see it through an exhibition window in the reverse of the watch. So I recognize the perceived value for this is really not there in terms of the movement. The movement is a little bit lacking, and I know Breitling does have access to the Tudor in-house movements made by Kinesi, but perhaps those are too thick or something. I'm not sure why they decided not to incorporate those movements and went with a Slater version of the Breitling 17. So I think that's a little bit of a negative element. But to keep in perspective, I can wear this one day and then put on a Breitling BO1 found in my Black Bay, my Black Bay Chrono, and then I can wear my IWC, and then my Sky Dweller, and then my Big Eye, and then my Moon Swatch. I can mix it up, and I think the variety in terms of brands, colors, styles, complications, and movement makers is a refreshing thing as a watch enthusiast, so it's not a deal breaker for me, but I can understand the criticism. Now, the last thing will be the bracelet. In terms of the execution of the finish, we have the dreaded PCLs, the polished center links, which visually look excellent. They bring a little bit of pizzazz and interest to the look, a lot more light play, but they are scratch, scuff, and smudge magnets. And I'm not looking forward to try to keep those clean as I wear and use my sports piece. So I would prefer an all brush finish, but that's again, personal preference. You may agree with me. You may disagree with me. On the whole, I'm very excited about this new Superocean. I understand the apprehension amongst collectors that, preferred the prior generation, but I think over time, people will come around to this model because it is a very good model, easy to use, good specifications, nice upgrades, and very pleasant on wrist, very bold, very fun to wear. So let me know if you have any specific questions. Thank you for watching. I'll do separate videos on each one of these models, and I will link them in the description of this video as they are completed. So thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.